watching NewsX World. We've just seen the press statements by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin conclude. There was a crucial bilateral meeting at the Hyderabad House just before that. And of course, the optics of this visit, the timing of this visit by Russian President Vladimir Putin is of course something that is raising eyebrows across the world. There are people across the world who are keeping a close watch on the outcomes of this particular summit. Remember, it's the 23rd India-Russia Annual Summit. It is taking place at a time when India is facing punitive sanctions by the United States of America, steep 50% sanctions for buying Russian oil. Russian state oil producers, Rosneft and Lukoil, have also been sanctioned, but at the same time, we've been seeing conversations between Russian officials and US officials in order to broker a peace deal. There was Steve Witkoff a couple of days back in Moscow having a 5-hour conversation with Vladimir Putin, and now Putin is here in India being hosted by Narendra Modi. Red carpet welcome yesterday at the tarmac at the Palam airport. All hugs and all smiles. Both leaders also rode the same car, very reminiscent of what transpired on the sidelines of the SCO summit in Tianjin earlier this year. In the meantime, I'll just walk all you viewers through what exactly was stated by both leaders. Prime Minister Modi has highlighted that a strategic partnership was set in stone 25 years ago. It was, of course, elevated to another level 15 years ago, and he's credited Vladimir Putin's vision for this. He's also emphasized that an economic cooperation framework for 2030 has been agreed upon, that both countries are looking for a diversified, balanced and sustainable partnership. President Putin and Prime Minister Modi will of course be participating in the business forum very shortly, but a lot is being done on the economic realm and the economic front. Exports, co-production, co-innovation is touted to become even better. It will benefit people in both countries, including farmers, including the youth. Training for specialists in ships operating in polar waters will be taking place. There's a major impetus to make in India, especially in the pharmaceutical sector as well. 2 new Indian consulates have opened in Russia recently. There's another MOU that has been exchanged today in the labor sphere as well. Manpower mobility will create new opportunities. Vocational education, skilling and training is of course in focus as well. But another crucial aspect upon which the Indian Prime Minister spoke about was of course the Russia-Ukraine war, emphasizing once again that India is on the side of peace, that this is not an era of war. He's also spoken about terrorism, stating that both countries oppose terrorism. Both countries have suffered through terrorism. He's remembered Pahalgam as well as the Crocus City Hall attacks and emphasized that unity is our biggest strength against terror. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that he has established a close working dialogue with Prime Minister Modi. They earlier, of course, met at the SCO summit, but this time around, various sectors have been reviewed. There's been an impressive package of inter-governmental and inter-agency agreements that have been inked. He's emphasized that bilateral trade turnover grew 12% last year. It's at 64 billion at the moment. The target is 100 billion by 2030. The FTA zone that has been created between India and the EAEU is in focus. Trade in national currencies, the rupee-ruble trade, about 96% of the trade currently underway is through this means. He's spoken about the Kundankulam nuclear plant as well. This is the largest nuclear plant in India. 2 units constructed, 4 are being constructed. One very crucial statement has also been that Russia is ready to supply uninterrupted fuel to India. He's pointed out the fact that talks regarding small nuclear reactors are underway, and people-to-people and cultural exchanges will also take place. But last but not the least, he's highlighted that Russia will be backing India as the chair of BRICS next year. With us on the broadcast is NewsX World Senior Executive Editor Megha Sharma. Thank you so much, Megha, for joining us on the broadcast. I know it's been quite a busy day for you on the ground. You've been reporting since morning. Walk our viewers through the statement that both leaders have given, some of the key takeaways from these statements as well?
Yes, the statements that came in from both the heads of the governments of India and of Russia were on expected lines. We have been speaking about strengthening economic ties, diversification of investment and trade between both countries, and that's how Prime Minister Narendra Modi started his speech. He spoke about taking economic cooperation to new heights. He spoke about a 2030 economic cooperation program where Indian trade and investment into Russia is going to be diversified, it is going to be sustained and balanced in a bid to reach that $100 billion trade between both countries. A slew of these measures, particularly including the MOUs that have been signed, the intergovernment agreements that have been signed, whether we talk about, the collaboration between the two ministries when it comes to shipbuilding, exploration of Arctic waters, polar waters, the civil nuclear cooperation that has to be taken to the next stage after the completion of the Kadankulam power plant. 3 of them already activated, remaining 3 are in the process that will be completed in the coming months. But another key aspect that the Prime Minister raised was the Eurasian Economic Union and India Free Trade Agreement. Negotiations continue. Russia is a key part of it. There are Central Asian countries that are also part of this Eurasian Economic Union. Both leaders have hinted at concluding this FTA at the soonest possible. So that's a new that's something that is going to be interesting to watch out for. Talking about strengthening ties with regards to agriculture and fertilizers. India is the largest importer of fertilizers from Russia. At the same time, agricultural produce is exported to Russia, including pomegranate and potatoes and marine products as well into Russia. So these are 2 important sectors that the Prime Minister spoke about. And besides that, there has been a renewed push that is going to be made with regards to urea production. And then another key focus about the Prime Minister specifically mentioning, taking out those few seconds and mentioning about the pharmaceutical plant that is going to be set up in Russia to increase India's production, India's pharmaceutical production to be sold in Russian markets, because that is one of the key areas that India is a top exporter across the globe, Russia notwithstanding. And then we speak about connectivity, very important for both countries. There are already 2 of these transit corridors that have been built. We talk about the international north-south transport corridor that we had already spoken about, and also talking about the Chennai-Vladivostok corridor, trade corridor, and the full potential of these corridors needs to be realized, and work is going to be done by the ministries between both the governments. Of course, shipbuilding, another big key aspect. India has pushed for self-reliance when it comes to shipbuilding and increasing its expanse with regards to its maritime goals. That is something that Russia will handhold India by way of exchange of technology, by way of joint production of these ships, and then exporting them across the globe. So that's also one of the key areas where Russia would be helping India in varied ways to achieve those lofty goals that have been put up. Civil nuclear energy, we've spoken about this. Clean energy, a big priority. Diversification of supply chains for clean energy, high-tech manufacturing. Of course, focusing on people-to-people connect and tourism. There is a 30-day e-tourist visa that India is going to be launching, and they're going to be this group visa on the same lines that is also going to be implemented, that is also going to be granted by India for Russian nationals. So yeah, and then education, skilling and training, scholarship programs, exchange of sports persons, students by both countries. And of course, at the end, he also spoke about Ukraine and Russia and the conflict that is going on, and how India has been kept in loop by Russia every step of the way. And the Prime Minister particularly spoke about how he encourages and appreciates all efforts that are at this point of time being taken, whether it is from the side of United States of America or from the side of Russia, or in trying to find lasting peace in the region. And these were key aspects that were also touched upon by the Russian president as well. So all in all, like I said, many of these announcements, these MOUs and agreements and the press statements released by both leaders were on expected lines.
Absolutely, Megha. Thank you so much for joining us. You've, of course, as I mentioned earlier, been quite busy on the field. You have the MEA press briefing to track as well. Viewers, that'll come sometime around 4:30 p.m. We'll, of course, be highlighting the remarks then. But